marks the 20th anniversary of Connie Gerard Romero's coming to the White House and joining the press office staff. So today we're going to surprise her by asking her to come down here shortly. I have in hand letters from all the former presidents, living former presidents she's worked for. There are 5 that she's worked for, and all the former press secretaries that found books here. So I've got a few remarks. I'll read excerpts of the letters. We have for you copies of the excerpts. So,
is this on the record?
Okay. I don't care. Why is that light on? Does anyone use that light over there?
we also have cake when we finish with all the festivities.
Charlie, you want to do this?
We have to remain.
Do we need the light on? That light is killing us.
No, after this is over, you start to break things.
Tomorrow you would have been in the press office 20 years, officially. So, 20 years ago, tomorrow marks the date when a beautiful young lady officially joined the staff of the Office of the Press Secretary to the President of the United States. She served 5 presidents: Johnson, Nixon, Ford, Carter, and now Reagan. She has served press secretaries Salinger, Reedy, Moyers, Christian, Ziegler, Terhorst, Nesson, Powell, Brady, and their deputies. And she's served thousands of journalists in hundreds of cities. She's been a witness to more history than anyone I know, but more than anything else, she's been constant in the American presidency, and she's well named Constance or Connie. Today we honor a dear friend and respected colleague, Connie Gerard Romero, on 20 years of service to this office, and let me share with you just a few thoughts of those whose lives she's enriched. And Connie, here's the book. Ronald Reagan says, "I know well the long hours, the holidays away from family, the missed meals, the endless typing, the telephones ringing, which have been a part of your service here. Yet through it all, you amaze us with your energy, grace, and good humor." Jimmy Carter says, "You have no idea what a relief it was to me to know there was one person in the press office who knew what they were doing." Your dedication and loyalty to the President are a source of pride to all who know you. Gerald Ford, I am grateful for your hard work and dedication during my years in the White House. Richard Nixon, Presidents of the United States depend upon a hard core of skilled White House professionals to give their all each day, regardless of which party holds the highest office. You're one of those, and you can be proud of having ably served 5 presidents during 2 of the most tumultuous decades in recent history. Jim Brady, Press Secretary to President Reagan, you have a well-deserved worldwide reputation for excellence, for skill, and for grace under pressure. In more cities than I can think of, you represented the American presidency with your unique combination of selflessness, integrity, and good humor. You've been a friend, a mother, nurse, counselor, and seamstress to some of the biggest names in history, yet you've remained the same person you've always been. Larry speaks, through the 3 administrations I've been a part of, there was a difference in style, issues, and people, but there was always one constant, Connie in the press office. It seems you're a stabilizer for the presidency, the one person who keeps going and keeps others going. Jody Powell, I can think of no finer example of sacrificial service to one's country than working the better part of 20 years in the White House press office. The very thought of such a thing makes strong men weep. When the history of the 3rd quarter of this century is written, there must be a line, Connie Romero, but for her, things would have been a whole lot worse. Rex Granum, Jody's deputy. Presidents, their press secretaries, and an even occasional deputy come and go, but you don't, and for good reason. You do, after all, run the place. Ron Nesson, who's here, Connie, press secretary to President Ford, arriving at the White House press office in difficult times, Unprepared by either temperament or experience, I was helped greatly by your knowledge, skills, and unfailing good humor, for which I am eternally grateful. Presidents and press secretaries come and go, but Connie Romero goes on, to which everyone who knows you can say, thank God. Jerry Terhorst, press secretary to President Ford, who is here. There's Jerry in the back. I remember those Saturday walking news conferences that LBJ used to lead us on, especially the time when Peter Lissagore, walking backwards to catch the man's immortal words, bashed his head on a lamppost, and you were there to commiserate and band-aid. I shall never forget your unstinting help, your unselfish attitude, your loyalty, and your unquenchable smile and esprit de corps. Ron Ziegler, press secretary to President Nixon. Probably one of the best decisions I made as press secretary was to ask you to stay on in the White House press office following the Johnson administration. Jerry Warren, deputy press secretary to President Nixon. Future historians may seek to explain how the White House continues to function during dramatic and sometimes traumatic changes in leadership. If so, they need only to study your amazing service to the spokesman for 5 presidents. How many times have we seen situations of utter confusion resolved when someone thinks to say, ask Connie. Tom Johnson, deputy press secretary to President Johnson. Amid all the changes in personalities in various White House staffs, you've remained absolutely faithful to the office. You've dedicated untold thousands of hours to the job, answered by now probably 1 million phone calls, typed truckloads of speeches, press releases, transcript, and awakened hundreds of correspondents for trips, taught dozens of staffers the lessons for occupying the press office, and retained that sensational Wyoming personality throughout the turmoil. George Christian, press secretary to President Johnson. I have respect and love for you far beyond a mere congratulatory message. Keep the flag flying, Connie. You are an original, and there are no copies. Bill Moyers, press secretary to President Johnson. You've become a part of that institution, proof that in the midst of so much change and upheaval, some people stick around to make things work. The calm at the center. Lyndon Johnson once told me, Moyers writes, he should have made you press secretary. George Reedy, press secretary to President Johnson. When I stand before St. Peter pleading my case for entrance to the pearly gates, I know already the first point I will advance in my favor. It will be, I brought Connie Girard into the White House. Unless centuries of listening to pious protestations of innocence have soured the good saint beyond all points of toleration, I suspect I need to say nothing more. An incident in the Reedy days, on one occasion, a loyalty check of federal employees had been announced, and the president told me to make it clear that it covered his people as well as all the others. One television correspondent asked in an incredulous tone, does that cover Connie too? And I replied affirmatively. He said, well, you tell the president if he finds out that Connie belongs to anything, I'm going to join it too. And Pierre Salinger, press secretary to Presidents Kennedy and Johnson, says your 20 years at the White House have been a wonderful thread through the lives of many presidents and many press secretaries. We have one more item here, and I know everybody joins in congratulations to Connie for 20 years tomorrow, officially on the payroll. Hold up, there's one more thing coming. Run out, Connie. I hate to surprise you. You got anything to say?
Yes, I do. No, I just want to say that I don't think anybody could have a more interesting place to work for 20 years. It's the only place I've ever worked in my whole lifetime, so I don't have anywhere to compare it with, but I know that I know that nobody could ever work with a more interesting, fascinating, unusual bunch of people. And and it's just been a real treat. I didn't even know this anniversary was here. I'm just completely taken by surprise, but it's a real honor. Thank you.
Okay. We'll cut the cake after the briefing if you'd like to. No, you want to wait and cut the cake after the briefing? We'll eat afterwards.